Contact. Enemy patrol dead ahead. Take him out quietly, or just let him pass. Your call.
Counter recon aircraft ready for flight.
Nice.
What's going on, guys? SeanEDawgz here, and first off, I'm sorry you had to both watch and listen to that. I couldn't help myself. But if you came here just for patch notes, you came to the wrong place. Yes, I will provide that information in the later half of this video. If you want to know all the laundry list of patch notes, I will leave a link down below in the description. But what this video is going to focus on is not just this huge update on April 10th. By the way, it is going to be the biggest update ever in a Call of Duty game to date. That's not just an exaggeration you've been hearing by other YouTubers. I'm sure you've seen videos on it by now. This list of patch notes is 3.5 pages long. They're completely reworking the game, but I want to talk about something that is even more important. And it's the series of events leading up to this moment in time. Everyone at Activision and Sledgehammer will deny this. I have reason to believe that what I'm about to tell you is entirely true. I've been following Call of Duty almost religiously since COD 4. I know pretty much everything there is to know about Call of Duty, the different studios, the studio heads, how they operate. And with what I'm about to say, some people are gonna think I'm crazy. Oh, this is a conspiracy. Sean, what are you talking about? So I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna spill the beans, tell you what I think happened with the development of this game, where it all went wrong. If you agree or disagree, or you have some other theories, I would love to hear them down below in the comments. So here it is. Our story starts off with the boys at Sledgehammer Games. They just finished making AW, that is Advanced Warfare, the first jetpacking Call of Duty, and they're looking back at the launch and they're like, you know, maybe the game didn't stick too well. We lost some fans with the introduction of this jetpack system, but we also introduced microtransactions, and we're making more money for the series than any game to date. This microtransaction system, it was a genius idea. All of these customization items that we added to the game, along with the core gameplay, people will get used to it. So their life cycle is over. The release of Black Ops 3 is underway, and they see the reception that that game got. It was even better than Advanced Warfare. They're like, oh, we got this in the bag. We're making Advanced Warfare 2. Let's get to work, boys. Everything is going smoothly. Black Ops 3, one of the highest selling Call of Duty games out there, and that's just in copies sold, not to mention the microtransactions in that game. I'm sure that was through the roof as well, considering some of the DLC weapons in that game were the best weapons in the entire game. But then in 2016, leading into 2017, everything starts to collapse. The reveal trailer comes out for Infinite Warfare, which isn't unlike any of the last two Call of Duty games. For some reason, it gets dislike bombed on YouTube, becomes the second most disliked video of all time. It has a horrible reception. Activision sees this, they see that the sales are down, and they come over to Michael Condrey and they say, listen, Michael, we need you to scrap Advanced Warfare 2 right now. Bring Call of Duty back to boots on the ground. And he goes, but Big Daddy Activision, this is a 1.5 years in development. What are we supposed to do? And Activision says, Michael, I'm not going to tell you again. Boots on the ground, bring Call of Duty back to its roots. Michael sadly walks back to Sledgehammer Studios and he tells the development team, guys, I don't know how else to put this, but we can't finish working on Advanced Warfare 2. It's going to do extremely poorly. Big Daddy Activision has just told me we need to take Call of Duty back to its roots. You know what? Screw it. We only have 1.5 years for this game. They want boots on the ground. I'll give them boots on the ground. This is going to be the most boring, basic, and bland Call of Duty this world has ever seen. So they restart development. This time they only have 1.5 years to actually make the game. This is why you see the completely unfinished product that World War II was at launch. There were massive server issues. You couldn't really even play with your friends. You would black screen all the time. The game was not balanced properly. FG42, need I say more? If you run the primed basic training, you win, no questions asked. It was a complete disaster. I'm sure there were people talking to both Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield going, guys, we need to make some changes. I understand that this game was rushed. You guys aren't happy about it, but we need to fix... I don't want to hear it. Bland and boring. Make it happen. unwilling to change their ways. Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield, in mid-March, I believe this was, if not the end of February, they both left Sledgehammer and instead got promotions, jobs at Activision. And the SeanEDawgz theory with this one is that that information was just a cover-up. They didn't want to just go out and say, hey, we're firing studio heads Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield. Have fun with World War II, because that would look really, really bad and completely kill the game right off the bat. So instead, they stated that they got promotions, effectively leaving Sledgehammer Studios and putting Aaron Halen in charge. Within the short, month and a half to 2 months that he's been there have been drastic changes to the game, and now we are seeing basically what the game should have been at launch. This huge update on April 10th, it's essentially releasing an entirely new game. Everything is rebalanced. The game will not function how you see it in this gameplay today. It is changing for the better, but is it too little too late? People have been complaining about the same things since the beta was released, and they are just now making the appropriate changes. To me, that's a little bit ridiculous, and I think it has a lot to do with the influence Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield had on the rest of Sledgehammer Studios, and they were reluctant to make any changes leading up to the release of the game after the terrible response from the beta, and that leads to what we will be seeing with this April 10th update. It's essentially how Call of Duty World War II should have been released at launch. Again, I'm telling you, we have never seen an update this big because it hasn't been necessary. You would never need to do this within a game's life cycle unless there were serious development issues, which in this case, that is exactly what we have. And although I think a lot of these changes are amazing, they're reworking all the different perks that you get with your divisions. There will be unlimited sprint, grenades do less damage. Every class will have 3 attachments. There is no more primed basic training. You can have a suppressor on all submachine guns regardless of your division. And it sucks that they're doing this so late in the game's life cycle because it's pretty much giving us a new game. It's likely going to have a lot of problems at the beginning. Things aren't going to be 100% balanced because they have not been able to test this on a large scale. They don't know what people are going to tend to use, like what basic trainings over others, what classes are going to be OP, and problems within the game that could have and should have been worked out in November and December are now going to be worked out in April and May. It is what it is. We can't go back and change the past. I'm just happy that things seem to be sorted out now. But if I was a pro player for this game, I would be pissed off beyond belief. They are reworking the game right before the biggest tournament of the year. Right now, in the CWL, all these pro players are competing in the Stage 1 playoffs. The only events that they play for large sums of money that are left are the Stage 2 playoffs and the CWL championship. These 2 events alone have a much bigger prize pool than any other event and probably a lot of events combined. So the fact that they have to relearn the game, put in thousands of hours right before the 2 biggest tournaments of the year, it is a lot of pressure and a lot of stress that is extremely unnecessary, something that they have never had to deal with. And I'm curious to see how they're going to handle this situation. It would be so much easier on these pro players and they wouldn't have to relearn an entire game. And for these last 2 events, they just made it so that the game would be reverted back to this state before April 10th and they could go about playing how they have been all year. However, I don't think that that's going to happen. I think they are going to have to relearn the whole game, and I've been waiting for the backlash on Twitter. I know that there's some pro player that's going to tweet out how angry they are, that they're going to have to put in thousands of hours, basically learn a new game. It's not fair to those players at all, but if all you're playing is public matches like the majority of the COD community, this is an amazing change that we should be looking forward to. I already told you most of the major changes that are coming. That unlimited sprint, you take less grenade damage. They're reworking basically all of the class abilities within the different divisions. I'm not going to go into each one of them individually because there's like 25 new things. All of the other changes will be listed in that link down below in the description if you guys want to check them out. I'm looking forward to this update. I think there are a lot of new possibilities with this in terms of stealth classes, actually being able to not die from nades, among other things. That is going to wrap it up for this one. If you guys did enjoy, please be sure to drop a like, comment down below with any thoughts or questions you may have. And as always, subscribe to the channel if you guys are brand new. Some more great videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.